Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Wednesday, August 5th. Again, hoping everybody's having a good start to your morning. Hopefully everybody's got your cup of coffee ready. And let's get into these levels. So where do we start? Yesterday's price action. Let me jump in here really quickly to the 15-minute time frame. Definitely got beat up pretty good yesterday. I can get rid of these guys. Obviously, a huge move to the upside. Almost got up to that 30,000 level and the NQ, which we haven't been in there for quite some time. But absolutely stunning performance yesterday by the bulls. Really just unrelentless, no pullbacks. Well, we had a little small pullback here towards the end of the session, probably some profit taken, and then overnight session pretty much just kind of stayed in that same range, but very impressive. I posted in my Discord yesterday. Let me just pull that up. I just said just one of those days. They don't come around often, but what they do, look out. I mean, literally you know, a few reactions at the bands, but definitely not able to contain price action on these daily bands at all whatsoever. It was just like I said, it was an impressive feat. It was an impressive feat by the bulls yesterday. So we'll drop back down to the 5-minute and we'll go over now some of the setups. Obviously, we got a bunch of longs that are going to be in play that we should be taking a look at here today. Do have a few good setups. All right, prior day high sitting at the 29,956. I believe we got some weekly. Yep, we got a prior weekly high at the 30.62 that was never tapped into. So again, good liquidity over here. Just be careful if you are in a long. Make sure you've got that level marked up on your chart, because that will there will be some liquidity sitting right there at the 30.62. Current open 29,777. Finally getting into a developing weekly band here at the 29,700 to the 29,661. We've got really two key areas here that we can look to trade from. One is going to be the top of this band at the 29,700. If you're looking for a prop-friendly scalp, your best option is going to be the 29,685. Taking a long there, having your stop sitting below at the 29,673. This trade would look would actually look exactly like this. Stop loss a few points below the bottom of your band, and a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So that's what this first trade setup on the NQ is going to look like here this morning for me personally. If we go down below, we've got a golden level that I posted at the 29,538. These golden levels are given one every single day. It's a hand-picked level by me, either on the ES, ESNQ, or possibly even gold. Gold's been a little bit more difficult for me on the actual levels. The bands have been working out really well, but these golden levels will prove to be extremely profitable for you. These are always going to be very simple to trade. So 15 point TP, and it's going to be 1-to-1. So 15 point stop loss. Okay, very easy to trade. This setup today at the golden level at the 29,538 would look something like this. $15 points to the upside and 15 points to the downside. Very simple trade, very easy, very prop friendly. What else we got here on the NQ? Okay, NQ. We've got another developing weekly band. Obviously, these are all controlled by buyers based on the unbalanced move that we had from yesterday. So these are areas in the market that the market's going to have to balance out. Again, the weekly band is sitting from the 29,249 to the 29,206. On this particular band, you do have two options. Both options are going to be extremely good for you. One's going to be at the top of the band, stop loss a few points below the band, and then this is going to be 1 to 1.5 risk to reward, which will sit right here. So that would be option number 1 here on the NQ, again along at the 29,249.75. This is your long on both options. Conservative approach, so option number 1 will be sitting right here. This is your conservative approach, and what I mean by conservative approach is that this will encompass the entire band. Okay, it does give you your probably highest win rate, but at the same time, these detailed scalps that are sitting down here at the 29,249 down to the 237. These again are going to be very, very prop friendly trades, very prop friendly scalps. These will look exactly like this. So again, sitting at the top of that band, stop loss sitting a few points below, and your risk to reward 1 to 2. So this is exactly how your second option here on the morning would look like. Moving along. Prior day open sitting at the 28,930. Seems like a mile away. Prior day low is sitting at the 28,831. Seems like a mile away. And then we've got a small piece of unbalanced volume sitting at the 28,682 to the 28,671. Very simple trade on this one as well. Limit order at the 28,682. Stop loss a few points below the band. Take profit 1 to 2. Very easy. Very easy trade here on the NQ. So that's about 4 different setups that we've got here on the NQ. Obviously, we're going to need some retracements here on the NQ for these to obviously play out. But our first trade idea would be sitting at the 29,685. Let's hop over to the ES. I don't think I got anything above me on the ES. Prior day high sitting at the 77.86. Current day open at the 77.72. Gotta go down a ways. All right, here we go. So we do have on the ES, this is the ES here, we do have a weekly band. This is obviously all controlled by buyers, okay? This band is sitting at the 76.53 down to the 76.32. Personally, the area that, well, let's see. Oh, yeah, this is your area that you want to be trading here. So what I'm going to do really quickly is let me just delete. Give me 1 second here. Let me just delete this bigger side here just for a second here. All right. So on the ES, this is your, again, this is all buyer controlled, unbalanced volume sitting at the 76.53 to the 76.49. This would be your scalping band on the ES this morning. this is going to look like a stop sitting 1 point below the band. And on these, it's going to be a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. So I can get it right there. If I get it exactly, I can't, but. So again, limit order 76.53, stop loss sitting at the 76.48. TP would be sitting right here at the 76.61. Again, 1 to 1.5 risk to reward on the ES trades. It's your first setup here on the ES. We've got prior day. We got yesterday's open at the 76.31. Prior day low at the 76.29. Get rid of this guy. And then coming into another weekly band. This is all buyer controlled. As you can see, I do not have any detailed daily scalp in this area right here. So this could be an area of the ES where we will see a reaction from, but you can probably skip scalping this one. And then we've got a very strong weekly low sitting at the bottom of this band at the 75.42. And then these we talked about yesterday. We've got two separate areas here on the ES. Let me clean this up here a little bit. There we go. So we've got your first scalping band at the 74.68 to the I'm sorry, not your first scalping band, but this is your lowest scalping band on the ES. 74.68 to the 74.64. Again, very simple strategy on these. Limit order sitting at the top of your band. Stop loss sitting at the bottom of your band. Risk to reward 1 to 1.5. Which is sitting right there. That's what that first setup here would look like. We then have a golden level that I posted on X and on my Discord at the 74.54. Again, seems like a mile away just based on price action from yesterday. But we will retrace back to there eventually at some point. And once we do, we definitely want to be taking that golden level, which is also sitting at the top of a daily band. Super strong. And this would be a limit order at the 74.54. Bring this guy down. Bring my stop loss. Few points below. And a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. In fact, on these, you could be very simple. 5-point stop, 5-point take profit on my golden levels. Keep it very easy. Exactly how the golden level would look like at the 74.54 on the ES. Quickly in gold, and I'll go over all these setups on the NQ and the ES one more time before we're done here today. Gold, we are entering into our daily band at the 42.76 to the 42.57.7. So this is going to be the first real good test of gold here. Only issue with this band that I personally see is that this is the previous contract band. This is not our current. We have not had price action in this area on the new contract with gold. So I'm going to be a little bit curious to see how this reacts to here, but we should see a fade from this level. Support, where buyers are loading up at, is at the 41.43.7 to the 41.19.8. And I do have a 15-minute level at the 41.40.3. So again, we'll see here in gold what kind of reaction we get to here. If we do make a retracement down to here, you can expect a fade back to the upside there in gold. Morning, J-Loves. Steve, good morning. All right, give me 2 minutes and we'll go over all of the setups once again on the NQ and the ES, just so you are completely ready for the day. And hopefully looking to have a much better trading day here than I did yesterday. Be right back. JLo's, you should see it on the screen. It should be at the bottom right-hand part of the screen, but the handle is at TraderRob levels is my X account. And if you're watching the stream, highly encourage you to follow me on X. I post some pretty good content on there as well. And again, I do post my daily, all my golden levels once a day. Those are handpicked by me on a setup every single day that you can just take with a very simple one-to-one limit order type of strategy. And I said I had a pretty bad trading day yesterday. I mean, and it really was not terrible. I ended up taking that scalp that we talked about, that I was very excited about yesterday on the NQ. In fact, I think I can pull that one up so you guys can take a look at it. Crappy loss right here. Good job by the bulls for sure. So this was that really strong band that I kept talking about, and was going in for a nice, I think I had a 1 to 5 risk to reward on this trade. As you can see, when price action came up, we missed my entry by about a tick, and we did retrace it back down a decent amount, not a lot. I mean, obviously we didn't have many pullbacks yesterday at all, and we just really got caught in that bull run that really just, it was relentless yesterday. So I think I ended up taking about I want to say about a $55 loss on that trade. I was up from the, my P&L was green yesterday, but it was because I took a trade in the evening, the previous evening, which showed still the P&L the next day. So I was up $176. I ended up finishing the session yesterday with my on my live stream up $122. So I mean, it was still a green day on this Iron Beam cash account that the live account that I trade. So it wasn't like I make it sound like it was gloom and doom yesterday, but the thing that I was most shocked on was all of the bands, all the daily bands really just got blasted. I mean, you can see rejections. You can see rejections at the first band. You can see rejections at the second band, and you can see rejection at the third band, but not retracements, not the pullback moves that I'm looking for to capitalize on my scalps. So, they were able to at least kind of act as some speed bumps in the market, but not a roadblock. And I am obviously the type of trader I am. I'm looking for roadblocks, and then obviously some retracements from there. So one more time, we'll go over all of the setups here that I've got for you guys on the NQ and the ES. Prior day high, 29,956. Just keep that in mind. Obviously, there's going to be some liquidity sitting right up here. Above that, we have a prior weekly high. This one you should definitely put on your chart, the 30,062. Again, a lot of liquidity sitting here. We haven't revisited this area in a while, so this could be a key area for a possible pivot on the NQ. Current day open is at the 29,777. And now we'll get into our first trade setup that I've got on the NQ. So as you can see, we still need a decent pullback from where we're at. But based on recent price action, we can get here within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the market open. I think the first 15-minute range, opening range on the 15 minutes, been about 200 points. So this is definitely within reach very easily on the NQ. So first setup for me would be taking a long with a limit order sitting at the 29,685. A stop sitting a few points below the 29,673. And then taking your TP out at the 29,714. And again, this is a 1 to 2 risk to reward strategy. So, and it plays out because if we take a look on Monday I took a loss on one of my bands. I ended up taking a loser for I think it was $105. And I believe that was my only trade for Monday. And then it was Monday night that I ended up taking the short off of the next band that was sitting above it. Again, I was taking the entire band, so on that it's a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. So like for instance, on this band here, a more conservative approach would be setting a limit order at the 29,700, setting your stop 3 or 4 points below the bottom of this band at the 29,661. Again, more drawdown. Okay, these are going to be a lot more prop friendly for you, but these over here will have a slightly higher win rate. But the risk to reward here is only 1 to 1.5, which is exactly what I was trading on that Monday night. So again, I was down 105 for the session. In the evening, I ended up taking the next band to the upside. I remember taking a short. Again, 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. I made $176 on that trade. So the increased risk to reward, especially on these scalping bands right here. And this is me just giving you a very conservative strategy of 1 to 2. I target many times 1 to 3, 1 to 5. I was actually targeting 1 to 5 yesterday on the short setup that we ended up taking a loss on. So again, I took a $50 loss on that trade with two micros. This is just 1 micro, but if I change this to 2 micros, which is my typical on these type of smaller scalps, is between 2 and 3 contracts. Your reward on this trade is going to be 116. So I ended up losing yesterday I think it was $55 on the scalp that we ended up taking. But on this next trade, you know, if we hit this to 1 to 2, your reward is going to be 116, double it. So it's going to always play out in your favor. Okay, they're always going to play out here in your favor. So this is setup number 1 on the NQ for a long. Actually, I only have longs for the day. Next trade, we do have a golden level. This was my golden level I posted here on X and on Discord. Golden levels at the 29,538. 29,538. And again, very simple limit order, long, 15 point, 60 ticks of take profit, 60 ticks of stop loss, 15 points, 15 points. Very simple strategy. And again, I post those once a day. If you guys go into my, if you follow me on X, you'll see the, oops. Don't need to boost that. Sorry, I didn't mean to, I just want to get that highlighting out. So every single morning, I'll give you guys a key level here. So the NQ long 29,538, which is the one we're talking about. Long on the NQ at 29,538 with a 15 point take profit and a 15 point stop loss. So that was the today's golden level. Yesterday's golden level was an ES long at the 74.54, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Go down. Oh, this is the trade that I was talking to you guys about Monday night. This was the one, it was actually a 1 to 2.16 risk to reward on this trade that I ended up taking, which was over 90 points off that band that I was talking to you guys that was sitting right above. And the other key level, I started the X account on Monday, so 3 days of posts, but been pretty active on here. And the NQ long at the 28,209, which again is sitting almost 1,800 points below where we're currently at because of this huge rip. So not sure when we come back. But the nice thing is that these golden levels on the ES and the NQ, they don't expire. The only time they will expire is at the contract expiration. So once we roll over to the next contract, then the golden levels, if they haven't been tapped into, then they get reset. So that is your golden level right here, 29,538, 15 points to the upside, 15 points to the downside. And those are the two closest to us in price action. So I think we could just got a few more setups down below there, but I think for today that's probably going to be enough. If we look at the ES, I just want to make sure keep thinking we got something above us, but we don't. Prior day high is going to be sitting at the 77.86. Current open is at the 77.72. Your first trade setup on the ES for me would be sitting at the 76.53, limit order long. Stop loss sitting 1 point below the band at the 76.48. And your take profit is going to be a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. So your TP is going to be taken out at the 76.61 on the ES. Prior day open, 76.31. Prior day low, 76.29. Again, it seems like a mile away, but that is what happens when you got price action. Just want to talk about this band. Here we've got a developing weekly band. This is all buyer controlled from the 75.67 to the 75.42. Again, not a band I'm looking to trade. I don't have any detailed scalp, no daily band sitting in here. We do have a strong weekly low, so a lot of volume sitting down here. This is going to act as a magnet for the market. So this is a band that I can skip. But I do have two really nice setups sitting below that. Again, we need price action to cooperate and have a pretty strong push to the downside, but probably take one or two headlines and we could probably make a decent move back down to balance out a lot of this unbalanced volume that's sitting below us. First setup on the ES would be at the 74.68. Stop loss would be sitting a point below at the 74.63. And again, on the ES, it's always going to be 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. Do not target the 1 to 2 on the ES, target the 1 to 1.5. And here's your golden level that we were just talking about. Golden level on the ES that was posted yesterday was at the 74.54. The golden levels are extremely easy to trade. Again, for the NQ, it's going to be a 15-point take profit and a 15-point stop loss. For the ES, it's going to be a 5-point take profit and a 5-point stop loss. So always 1 to 1 on these golden levels. Okay, super easy to trade. You can leave a limit order on these. You know, obviously the only caveat to these golden levels, I would say, is avoid it first 5 minutes and post 5 minutes of the New York Open. If we've got like FOMC or some type of really high impact news and price action is sitting very close to it, probably another one you probably want to avoid. And the reason for that is that during those times of high volatility, unexpected headline news or scheduled headline news, liquidity leaves the market. And I'm banking on volume. I'm banking on volume, on the unbalanced volume that's sitting there to propel the market in the opposing direction for us to take a TP on those. So again, very simple. I try to keep this daily show in the morning extremely simple for traders to really follow and jot down these trade ideas. And then as they occur throughout the day, I will have resting limit orders on them. So I will be posting those results on my X and my Discord. And obviously my Signal members continue trading live with me, so we get to trade these in real time. But I'm wishing you guys the absolute best. I know that we've got a bunch of headline news here this morning. So we've got today we've got ADP employment change, which we just had at 7:15, Treasury QRA at 7:30, S&P PMI final at 8:45, ISM PMI at 9 a.m. Central Time, oil inventory report at 9:30. Another thing, Apex is running a pretty fantastic sale. They do have just one example is a 100K intraday eval, all in for 59 bucks. It's probably the cheapest 100K account I've ever seen done, and you can either buy it as a single or a 5-pack. So nice little deal there on Apex. And I would say the other best deal that I currently see that I think a lot of traders snooze on, and had a good conversation with my Signal members on it yesterday, but I'll kind of go over this with you guys here this morning on why I believe that this is a product that a lot of people don't really talk about, but I really think that you should probably give it a shot. So I just pulled up the Tradeify website, which I am also an affiliate partner with. If you do purchase a Tradeify account, if you could use code TraderRob, I would appreciate it. And I'm sorry, this is the commercial of the show, but this part is not the commercial. This is a part that I truly believe is something that is underutilized and really not really focused on. Everybody focuses, including myself for a very long time, everybody always focuses on the 50K accounts, okay? 50K Apex, 50K Lucid, Tradeify. It's the most popular by far account size that you can purchase, okay? Now, on a typical, most firms are going to have different, they're going to have different rules, but the majority of like the targets and the drawdowns are very similar. So, but let's just talk about Tradeify here for a second. So if we compare the 50K to the 25K, and why I believe the 25K is one that you should really start to consider, is this. On the 50K for an eval, this is instant funded. So let's just talk about instant funded really quickly, and then we'll talk about the eval. Instant funded, the cost is $295 currently. They're running 40% off on the instance or the evals. So your initial investment is going to be $295 all in. So again, you don't have the what was I getting at? You don't have that $3,000. You don't have that $3,000 eval that you need to pass. You're straight in there. There's no activation on there, because when you add in activation and the eval, I would say your typical cost on a 50K when you add both of those things about the 135 bucks. It could be a little cheaper depending on a sale, or it could be a little bit more expensive. But you're going to pay about a little more than double for this, for not spending any time in the eval stage and pretty much just starting off in the funded stage. Now, your profit target on these accounts is going to be $3,000. Okay, so you got to make at least $3,000 to take your first payout. And for most firms, to be quite honest, you really should be at around $3.5 thousand to take your first payout of $1,000 of 1K. Okay. And that includes the buffer that like Apex has, just to leave yourself a good amount of drawdown after your first payout is roughly around $3,500. But let's just say $3,000 will get you at least a payout. Great. That's the 50K. Now let's talk about the 25K and why I think that this one is a sleeper in the industry. Your initial cost with the 40% off currently, use code TraderRob, is $207. Okay, so not a huge capital investment. I understand that everybody's positions are a little bit different, but and Jay Loves, I promise I'll get to your question here in a second. You know, everybody's situation is different, but for the typical traded funder or funded trader, $200 initial investment. Okay, you only get $1,000 of drawdown, so you get half the drawdown that you get on the 50K account, and that's one reason why most people just say, nope, that's not enough for me. I'm gonna go to the 50K. Now, remember on the 50K what we talked about. For you to get a payout, you're gonna need to be at between $3,000 and $3,500 to take your first payout. Okay, which means as you have $2,000 drawdown on the 50K, you could take 10 trades at $200 of risk before you blow your account. Vice versa, to get a payout, you're going to have to hit 15 winning trades at $200, would get you to $3,000. Okay. Now let's take a look at this 25K, which only has $1,000 of drawdown. Well, let's look at it from a different angle. You get 10 trades that are risking $100 would then equal the $1,000 drawdown where you would blow your account. 10 trades, you'd have to lose 10 consecutive trades, risking exactly $100 per trade. But for instance, if we're using my strategy, which is a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward on majority of the trades, sometimes 1 to 2, especially on these little daily scalps that I'm giving you guys. For those, you get up to 10 chances to be wrong before you blow your account. But what's the profit target on these? The profit target is $1,500 is what you need to make on these 25K fundeds. Guess what the payout is? The payout is $1,000. Do the math, and I'm telling you, this side is going to be much easier for you to get to your first payout of $1,000. Now, you take out $1,000. What is that going to leave you with? $500 of drawdown. Very tight. I get it. What does $500 of drawdown get you? 5 trades at $100 of risk. That's why I personally believe the 25K, people talk shit about it all the time. They're always talking down on the 25Ks. They say the drawdown's too tight. Guys, don't worry about the consistency. Don't worry about the drawdown. Just worry about your risk. That's it. Worry about your risk. Trade the same way you do. Just work on your risk. And I really think that this is something that people will benefit from. All right, J-Lo's got a question. Thanks for the levels, Rob. I always get confused on which way to do the volume levels. Like, should I buy from here or sell from here? So it's pretty easy. So I mean, on my NQ, like the first trade that we've got, these volume levels here. So if the band is sitting below price action, we know that we're going to be looking for a long, because this is all buyer controlled volume. Okay. And if we kind of go back, let me see if I go back to the, I think we could stay on the 5-minute here. Let's see if I, and let me just remove the bubbles so that you can kind of just see a clean chart here. Here's your scalping band at the 29,685 that we were just talking about. This is exactly where the unbalanced volume is currently sitting at on this trade right here. So this price action was to the upside. Okay. What I'm banking on is the unbalanced volume left in this area at the 685 to the 673. So if the band is sitting below where price action is currently at, once price action comes back down, we're expecting a move back up based on this impulsive move that we had from here. And vice versa. If the band, which we currently don't have a band, I think I do have a band above us, sitting way above here. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe he's over here. Maybe he's not. Oh, yeah. So we do have we have a band sitting above here at the 3906 to the 3968. Obviously way above where price action is currently at. This is obviously seller control volume. So if we were to come into this band, I'd be looking to fade it back to the downside. So that hopefully clears up where you'd want to be looking for longs and shorts in the market. So I'll stick around here for 1 or 2 more minutes. If anybody's got any questions on any of the bands that I showed, you want me to talk about a particular level that I might have gone a little bit quick on, just pop it into the chat, and I'll stick around here for a minute or two. Morning 007. Jay Loves, if you're like, let's say you're really just starting to get into trading volume, I can I'll give you here a very quick simple way to start. And first thing that you should obviously always have is going to be your session volume profile. Okay. I'm a little bit of a different creature. I do have my session volume profiles on the screen. So this is currently the Globex session right here, the overnight session from, I'm in Chicago, so Central Time, from 5 p.m. to 8:30. That's the Globex session, pre-session, pre-market, overnight, whatever you want to call it. You should always have the developing profile, so a session profile tool on your chart. And then when the New York Open starts here in about 45 minutes, you'll see a new volume profile develop on my screen. And, those levels will start coming up. I use a value area of 70%, which is, you could use either 68% or 70%. I use 70% on all of my volume profiles. I also, which you can't see on the screen, it's a little bit here to the right. It's in this, it's the next histogram over from my Delta histogram that I have here, is my composite volume profile. And my composite volume profile takes into account the last 45 days of volume. Okay. And I like to just use that as kind of like a barometer of where the market is kind of going, where it's been, and where volume has been extremely traded heavily, and where areas where it has not been traded heavily. So at the bare minimum, you start with those three, okay? And then you can say, it will start to give you levels. Let me take this off here. Let me just take price off for a second. So it's going to start to give you these levels every single session. It's going to give you your value area high, your point of control, and your value area low. Okay. Just with these 3 lines alone, you can make yourself a working strategy on the NQ and the ES. Because if you shrink this chart up, you'll start to see the different types of volume profile that we had. So like this was the New York session from yesterday. Okay, obviously very, very bullish. You can see where we started and where we came in. Okay, you can see that the overnight session took up maybe a quarter of yesterday's volume, and even the overnight session had a pretty decent range. But what you can start to do is you can start to map like put a level at yesterday's New York point of control, yesterday's value area high, yesterday's value area low. Not much of a coincidence here, right? Where this golden level is sitting at. Where's this golden level sitting at? It's sitting at right above this value area low from yesterday. Okay. I also have unbalanced volume sitting right here. I've got a lot of confluences here. That's why I'm giving you this as a golden level each day. It's my hand-picked trade for the day. Now you can see this is my scalp that I lost yesterday. So what you can do with the volume profile is you just keep mapping out these levels. So like today you would map out your volume area high, your point of control, and your volume area low for the pre-session, okay, for the Globex session. Once the New York opens up right here at 8:30 Central Time, it's my time, 9:30 Eastern Time, wait 30 minutes for the 30-minute initial balance to be set, and then put lines on your value area high, your point of control, and your value area low. Those lines are going to move up and down slightly after the first 30 minutes. After the first hour, they're not going to move as dramatically, because that's where the bulk of all of the volume that's traded in the day is concentrated in that first hour. But the first half an hour is going to give you a really nice little outlook. And what you're going to look for is areas of confluence, okay? Meaning that if the New York session gets a value area low sitting right here, value area low, and you had also the point of control sitting for the pre-session, sitting almost at the same level, that's a huge area of confluence. That's a huge area that you're going to have a high probability that you're going to get a reaction back to the upside. Okay. And if it doesn't line up exactly, no problem. It might be 5 or 10 points above. It might be 5 or 10 points below. Then all you have to do is you create yourself a band, depending on where the volume is, where that key level is sitting at above you. So that's trade option 1. You could be very well at that. I like to combine it with my unbalanced volume approach. So if I see unbalanced volume and it's in an area where the pre-session had its point of control, great. If it had the value area low, great. I'd rather trade the edges than the point of control personally. But if I get a confluence on a value area low that's also sitting at the point of control from the pre-session, great trade. Secondary are going to be your daily levels, your prior day high, prior day open, prior day low, any weekly levels. Have those on your chart as well, and see if one of these lines, because you're going to have 6 lines every day. You're going to have your pre-session lines, which are going to give you 3 levels, and your current day is going to have 3 levels. So that's 6 levels of volume that you're going to have to work off of. If one of those levels also falls on a key level, like a current open or a prior day open or a prior day high, awesome. Now you've got 2 pieces of confluence. That's going to be a high conviction trade to get a nice bounce off from the top side. Okay. And then lastly, the third way that that in itself is going to, you will be able to find at a very minimum 1 to 2 trades per day. Okay. Now For all of those VWAP traders that love to make comments on when we're at VWAP and where you should be taking profit at or taking a trade from, same thing. If you get your magical VWAP line that also coincides with a volume area like point of control or value area low, value area high, if VWAP is in one of those areas and you get another piece of confluence, that's 2 pieces, okay? That's enough to take a setup from there. If you get 3, those are considered to be like your unicorn trade, and those should be a really good reaction back to the upside. What could be your take profit and stop loss? Well, your take profit and stop loss should be your next level. Okay, it's the kind of the basis of the AVT strategy that I taught you guys. Just let the volume give you your TPs and your entries. So if, for instance, if we tap into value area high and we get a rejection from there, you could target the point of control. If you've got a key level here, like a prior day open or current open, target that. Don't let any roadblocks sit between you and your TP, ever. Ever. Unless you have super high conviction on the trade and you want to take that for a bigger risk to reward, awesome. But that in itself will give you, if you want to start off as a volume-based trader, it's an extremely easy and effective way to trade the markets as well. Let me pop on price here because I'm going to need that for the trading day here. And let me pop in my deep trades here. Perfect. All right, guys, so that's about 3 different setups on the NQ for longs today, 3 different setups on the ES for today. Again, no, I didn't want to show you guys that. I wanted to show you, follow me on X. Every single day, I give you guys my golden level each day. Very simple limit order strategy, 1-to-1 risk to reward. On the NQ, it's going to be 15-point TP, 15-point stop loss. Yesterday's key level on the ES, those are going to be very simple. Gives you the entry, 5-point TP, 5-point stop loss. Every single day you get one of these, and that's on my X account. So hopefully you guys follow me. Well, 7 followers, so I got a few more today. Awesome. I'd like to get this to at least 1,000 followers, but we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, take care. Enjoy your trading day. And and again, yeah, feel free to rewatch these videos, share them, like them. I appreciate liking them. And again, if you are going to be purchasing an eval at either Apex, Tradeify, or Lucid, if you could use code TraderRob, I appreciate it. That's all I got for you guys today.